Hello everyone, it's Jeff again, coming to you with my fourth video this week. And this is going to be the last one for this week, because I've basically run out of material for anything to talk about. So, this is a Spin Zone video, and I have 8 albums to show of what I've been listening to lately over the past, week or two, more or less. Just about all of these have been posted on Facebook and Instagram too, so probably won't be too many other surprises beyond that. And the last 2 are actually records I listened to this morning, so they're the freshest in my head. I'm going to start off with this album, which I showed in Beth's contest, B-Side Records, for the cover similarity question, and this was Billy Cobham's Spectrum. Here's the back. I talked yesterday a little bit about the Mahavishnu Orchestra and how Billy Cobham was a member of that band for a while on the at least on the Birds of Fire album. And he went and had a solo career, and this is an album from that. This is, it's still in the vein of Mahavishnu type of fusion. Not quite as intense. Tommy Bolin is the guitarist on this album, and he's a great guitarist. He does a great job on this record, but a little bit of the fire isn't quite as there is on the MO albums. Actually, I liked side 2 of this album a little bit better than side 1. It seemed to be, it's got more of a funky beat to it. It's a little funkier than MO2, which is really quite nice. The only problem is this particular copy is really noisy, and it had a skip in it, which I haven't come across a skip in a record, or actually had to bump the needle a little bit over because it was just repeating. So I would probably want to find an upgrade copy of this one. The music was good, don't get me wrong, just this particular copy is not the best. So, I mean, visually it looked okay, it looked like it was, a little beat up, but most times, records play through. But this one was a little noisier than I expected, and of course it had a skip. So if I was able to come across another copy of this, a better upgrade copy, then I would take it. Billy Cobham's Spectrum, pretty good album. The next 2 were VCLT from Value Vinyl. First one being Bookends by Simon & Garfunkel. I know I showed this before. Actually played it, and it's a 2i Columbia copy. And while it was noisy, it still sounded great. And I made a comment on Baraka P-Dub's entry for Brad's Label Game contest, and he showed all the different variations that he had of the Columbia label. And I commented on that video, I said, the 2i's that were produced in the 60s, and even the 6i's that were produced earlier than that, even if they're beat up, they still sound amazing, because if you can just focus in on the music a little bit and get past the noise, the sound is just so crystal clear. And that was the case here with this 2i. Side 1 was a little bit noisier than side 2, but still a great album, and the music is just fantastic. I'd been wanting to get this album for a while now. I think the only album of theirs that I'm missing is Sounds of Silence. I don't think I have Sounds of Silence. But this is an album that I'll definitely be playing again and again. This is, a highlight of their career. Bookends by Simon & Garfunkel. And if I can come across a nicer copy of a Columbia 2i version of this, I would snap it up, because it's just that good. And I have other, you know, two eyes that are of other albums that just, I mean, it has that 360 sound on the label, and boy, it's like the 60s version of surround sound. So you guys all know what I'm talking about, I think, don't you? So yeah, I've got a nice obsession with the early pressing Columbia albums, and this is one of them, Simon and Garfunkel Bookends. The other album that Steve sent me was by the fabulous Thunderbirds, and this is called Tough Enough. And this copy was mint. Super quiet, barely a crackle on it. It's like a brand new copy for all intents and purposes. So I don't know what that guy that gave him all those records was thinking, you know, that this was unsellable or like garbage, but man, this is just a perfect copy, and it's on CBS Records also. So the title track, you know, was a big hit for the Thunderbirds. They do a great cover of Wrap It Up, and Why Get Up was the one song that I was thinking was another radio hit for them. I couldn't think of it when I showed it the first time. But overall, this whole album is really good, and I've needed some fabulous Thunderbirds in my collection. I'm a big fan of Jimmy Vaughn too, so once again, Steve, thank you for sending me these records. These are awesome, and I really enjoyed this one. Then, I started off this week listening to Stevie Wonder, Songs in the Key of Life. I had watched my buddy Alex. His channel is Alex Spins Vinyl. I got to give a shout out to him there. If any of you are looking to subscribe to a really good channel, I would suggest Alex Spins Vinyl, and I'll put a link to it down below. He just did a ranking video of Stevie Wonder's 70s albums, and I won't tell you where this one ranked. I'll let you watch that video for yourself. But it was pretty high up there, and I commented, or watching that video reminded me that I had this in my crate. You know, it was one of those back of the crate albums, and he's like, well, what are you waiting for, dude? Play it. So I did. So Alex, you inspired me to play this record. And this copy does not have the bonus 45 with it. That's not a big deal. I mean, I really, that doesn't bother me. But the records themselves are in pretty nice shape. And boy, this is just another one of those rare, perfect double albums. I mean, all four sides are just killer. I got to qualify that statement a little bit. The only song that I really don't care for anymore is Isn't She Lovely? And I think that's just because of overexposure. It just, I'm sick of that song. But that's okay, because I can always skip over that song, right? I don't have to listen to it if I don't want to. But it's on this album. But, you know, I Wish is on this album. That's probably one of my all-time favorite Stevie songs. You know, there's so many hits on here. Sir Duke, I Wish, geez, and even some of the album cuts. You know, Joy Inside My Tears is just a great song, man. As, that's another great song, and it's just a fantastic album. So while I don't have all of Stevie Wonder's 70s albums, this is a very worthy addition to that lineup. And someday I'll track down more of them, because I like Stevie Wonder a lot too. So yeah, Songs in the Key of Life, just a great album, which is, I'm sure, not big news to anybody. Y'all know that already. I'm just catching up with everybody else. Following that, I played this album that Hannah sent me, The Omaha Introvert, as VCLT. This is the Blues Project live at the Cafe A Go-Go on the Verve Forecast label. This is looks like it's an original pressing. And this was the first album released by the Blues Project at the end of '65, I think, or the beginning of '66. I think it was the beginning of '66. It was recorded at the end of '65. And the Blues Project, you know, is made. Al Cooper is probably the most famous member of this band. You probably know him. He formed Blood, Sweat, and Tears, and he went on to be a record producer. You know, he worked with Dylan also on a lot of famous Dylan recordings. And he was in this band as well. You know, basically white boy blues. You know, that's pretty much what it is. And it's well done. You know, it doesn't have that same earthy, you know, down and dirty feel as some other blues bands, but it's really good. And like I said, I used to have this album back in the day in another life, and I remember trying to track this album down, and this was before, you know, internet shopping, and I was looking far and wide and going to all these record stores around here, many of which are gone today, looking for this album as a present for my former girlfriend. And once I finally tracked a copy down and played it, I ended up really liking it for myself. So it was really nice to see this one again, and it's nice to have it back in my collection. I don't associate any memories with her about it, though, because I know my wife watches these. Yeah, I see you right there. I just like the music. You guys know I'm all about blues. So this was a good one. Live at the Cafe Go-Go by the Blues Project. Then, this is one of the albums I bought from my wife's cousin. You can tell that because he wrote his name on all of the covers. You'll see another one of these shortly. This is the self-titled album by Suzi Quatro, a.k.a. Leather Tuscadero from Happy Days back in the smoking 70s. And with this album, it's kind of, think like Raspberries or Sweet, bands like that, you know, kind of like early to mid-70s power pop bands. That's kind of what this album is like. She covers some classic rock and roll tunes like All Shook Up, Shakin' All Over. It covers I Wanna Be Your Man by the Beatles. I like this album. It was really quite enjoyable. It was very energetic. Her vocals are a little high for my taste. It seems like she was just singing at such a higher register. It didn't sound natural. It almost sounded like the tape was speeded up. I don't know. But the music itself was really good. And this was an album that I saw on the VC originally, way back. And when I came across this, I just grabbed it, you know, and I got it for a good price. It's a mint condition copy on Bell Records. And I really liked it. Will I check out more of her albums? Maybe, if I come across them in the future. I don't know if I would actively search them out, but if I was able to find more at a good price, I wouldn't say no. I'd get more. This is a nice listen. Suzi Quatro, self-titled, with the textured cover. I like the textured covers. Okay. Now we get to the two records that I listened to this morning. Woke up this morning, you know, and it was yet another gray day here in Chicago. And this is my last second shift for this week, which is the reason why I've been able to make so many videos, because I've had the house to myself in the mornings. And I've been able to think and play music as loud as I want without disturbing anyone. But just a quick aside here, working second shift kind of isolates me from the rest of the family, especially during the week, because, you know, the wife's at work, the kids are at school. You know, I leave in the afternoon and I'm gone when they come home. And by the time I come home, everybody's asleep. So I usually call these second shift weeks like my bachelor weeks, because I really don't see anybody. But anyway, After, you know, several days in a row of this, you start feeling kind of melancholy-ish. And I decided to put on the Bob Dylan album that I bought over Christmas, More Blood, More Tracks, his newest entry from the bootleg series, and which is basically an alternate version of the Blood on the Tracks album. And every single song is just Bob accompanying himself on guitar, some with harmonica too, and the only other accompaniment is on some of these tracks he has a bass in the background as well. And the track listing is pretty much the same as the original. You just get different versions of it, and they're all acoustic. A lot of them are from the original recordings that he made before he famously changed his mind on a lot of these tracks and re-recorded them. And let me tell you, this is a fantastic album. I know I'm saying fantastic a lot too, just like Steve Carlson. I gotta find more adjectives. But with this album here, you really get the sense that Dylan is trying. His voice is in fine shape, his voice sounds good, and that's always been kind of a knock with me on listening to Dylan. Sometimes his voice just doesn't do it for me. In this case, it really does. He doesn't have that nasal whine that he developed later on, and it sounds, you know, he sounds melancholy making this. You know, this was his breakup album, and the emotion really shows through. You know, the anger and the sadness in his lyrics and his delivery of them is just astounding. And listening to this compared to the way the original album turned out really makes you wonder why he didn't just release this as the album. I don't know. There have been so many cases where the original recordings that Dylan made before he redid them or re-edited them or changed things around, just I don't think he needed a better editor than himself. But who's going to tell Bob Dylan not to do something or to do something? Nobody. So I'm glad we finally have this album. This is going to get played much more. Usually not when I'm feeling really happy and up, but when I'm feeling kind of thoughtful, reflective, not necessarily depressed, but boy, this album went down really good this morning. You know, it was just him, me, and a cup of coffee. The sound on these, I mean, this was a brand new record, so the sound on it is crystal clear, super quiet, and you have the intimacy in this album where it just feels like Dylan is just singing to you, one-on-one, you know? Amazing stuff. And actually, you know, his version of Tangled Up in Blue, I mean, the original I've listened to a million times, but listening to it here, you know, it's just like a brand new song. You know, some of the lyrics are different, and just hearing it, just acoustic guitar, is amazing. Same with Simple Twist of Fate, you know, same with Shelter from the Storm. They're a lot of, you know, they're similar, but they're different. It's a very stripped down, spare recording, but it really shows Dylan's abilities as a singer and a songwriter. Can't say enough good stuff about this. Highly recommend this. This album is still on sale at Amazon, I believe. I think it went up a couple of bucks. Like, I got this for like 15, I think, $14.99 or something like that. I think it's like 16 or 17.99 now. But still, for less than 20 bucks, this is a 2-record set. I would highly recommend this. If you're even a remote Dylan fan, pick this up, because this shows just how good Dylan was. You know, and it's just him unfiltered. It's really, really good. More Blood, More Tracks by Bob Dylan. Highly recommended. And then I closed out the morning. Did a 180 from Dylan, and I played Styx 2. This is another one of my cousin's albums that I bought. Got his name on the cover. And this is a mint condition copy on the wooden nickel label. You know, and of course, with it being a nickel, you know, the label looks like a coin. And if you look at the label, it says, you know, head side and tail side. Yeah, they went all in with the whole coin theme. Lady is, of course, the big hit off of this. But, boy, the rest of this album was pretty surprising. I didn't know what to expect, you know, besides Lady on this record, and boy, was it good. You know, this is before Tommy Shaw was in the band. You know, it's Dennis DeYoung, J.Y. Young, the Panazzo brothers. You know, it wasn't quite the final version of the band that made all the hits, but boy, these guys rocked. And like I said, I didn't really know what to expect, and I was pleasantly surprised. And I was also pleasantly surprised that this was such a nice condition copy, and it played really nice too. You know, it looked mint and it played mint. That's what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, Styx 2, this was a very, very pleasantly surprising album, I have to say. Very good to play at top volume, and this was a little bit of a nice antidote to try to cheer myself up after listening to all those depressing Dylan songs. Not that that's a bad thing, you know, in certain moods that really fit, but after listening to the Dylan, I wanted something to kind of, you know, clear out my mind a little bit and get me pumped up and going for the day. So this fit the bill perfectly. Styx 2 on the wooden nickel label. And that's it. There you have it. Thank you all for watching. Just want to thank everyone who's been commenting on my videos. I've been getting a lot of new people commenting on my videos. Really appreciate it. Really have to say that it's heartwarming to get feedback. And I watched Billy Hurst's vinyl tag video last night. It's a 45-minute video, but believe me, the 45 minutes goes by super quick. So if you guys are subscribed to him, I'm sure it showed up on your feed by now. I would recommend it. He does the vinyl tag really well. And he showed some killer stuff that I'd never seen before. And he shouted out to me a couple times in the video, so thank you for that, Billy. I appreciate that. More than you know, I appreciate that. And I just wanted to say, also I mentioned Baraka P-Dub a little bit earlier. Hope you're doing okay, Paul. Thank you for commenting on my videos as well. You know, I hope things are going good for you, because the government shutdown is affecting you, and just want you to know that, you know, the VC has your back. And I know I do. And so I know you don't put out videos as much as I would like. I would like a video from you all the time, but you're one of the guys I look up to in the VC. I just wanted to say, just the stuff you show, the things that you know, your knowledge level is off the charts, and the stories that you tell, and the production value you put in your videos, which is way more than what I put in these videos, for sure, is really, really cool. So I just wanted to give you a shout out there as well. And I also want to give a shout out to my buddy Brad. His birthday is tomorrow. Brad from H2 Vinyl. Happy birthday, my brother. Enjoy the record. I'm telling you to expect it. I already told you on the side, but just so you know that something's coming. I think you'll like it. And to everybody else who likes and comments, thank you. And I'm going to take a break from videos for a little while now. There's still another contest or two that I want to get in, but that will have to wait till next week. Because tomorrow is going to be, it's my one day off in a 2-week span, and that day is already booked with chores from morning through night. So, and there's a big snowstorm that's supposed to be coming tomorrow night. into Saturday, which I hope doesn't screw up my Robin Hitchcock concert plans. We'll see how it all goes, but in any case, that's going to be it for me for this week, so peace, take care, and I will see you guys soon.